But we do have Feint doing his macro heavy play here with a second expansion down already, while Fish Raper is still just going off one base. And Fish Raper needs to expand quick.
Yeah, Fish Raper does definitely need to get an expansion up, but he is keeping up pretty well so far in terms of overall supply, 80 supply to 86, and a lot of Feint supplies probably in drones. So pretty nice composition, at least, from Fish Raper. He has about 25 Marines, which is just so much damage potential, along with those four Hellions, which was just gonna. He has a pretty good army, at least right now, for facing against Zerglings.
And I really like how Fish Raper is using the Terran buildings to his advantage. Of those rocks, it screws you for the counterattack, but just the fact of having a couple supply depots here to block everything off, it's something that Zerg physically cannot do.
Right.
And I think that's an awesome follow-up to destroying those rocks.
And now we have the see, I think now when I watched this the first time, what my thoughts were is that it seemed like Feint was trying to get a surprise attack on his opponent using burrow. He's constantly reburrowing his roaches and burrowing his Zerglings, and I thought that was such a smart play in a high-stakes game like this, where this is a tournament game, this is an elimination game. So he's really trying to be defensive and not be overly aggressive, but still have that, using burrow for that possibility of staying defensive, but also getting that win with if his opponent potentially moves out.
Yeah, and we do have tunneling claws being researched right now for Feint, so he has that mobility while being burrowed.
And Spire also actually being built.
And the Spire really at this point in the game becomes crucial because you need something to fend off air. Air will come at some point against a Terran, and you just need to be able to be ready for that. So even if he builds no units right now, just being prepared for that stage of the game is essential. And huge Terran push coming right now. That's, wow, 6 medevacs.
Yeah, we have a huge...
So much healing about to happen.
I mean, the army is a little lopsided now in terms of Feint's favor, but still massive amounts of units. He is going to... Looks like he's going to wait till the Terran army is completely behind his...
Oh, wow, got a full surround. That's awesome now. Splitting up that Terran army, having to fire front, fire back, and these roaches just decimating everything. Oh, my God. That is such a huge loss. The supply difference is intense right now. 95 for Feint, 52 for Fish Raper.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and you know it's really cool how they make little spines on the back of the roaches now when they have movable burrowed. Isn't that cool?
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Little colored spines.
Yeah. Yeah. And the ladybugs gets no spines yet.
Yeah, ladybugs get spines when you upgrade them too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But now this is that turning point in the game of, okay, Feint's on 3 base. His macro was so heavy. That surprise burrow and roach attack just decimated everything. Fish Raper is kind of getting raped.
And I like Feint constantly having a changeling in the Terran base. Fish Raper not really aware of it.
Yeah.
But it seems like he has constantly had one. And there actually are Mutalisks in the I didn't even see them. Mutalisks killing SCVs.
Oh, it looks like just a small group. How many do we have more Mutalisks coming out? No more Mutalisks being built. That's really just the harassment group again.
It was sort of a feint.
Yeah. Again, that Spire is there just so you're prepared. Yeah. And instead of just wasting it.
But he did get plenty of kills. It looks like he got 2 kills on one on another, and so 3 kills. That's okay.
But still, it's good because he has extra economy. He can capitalize a little bit. I'm going to build 3 Mutalisks, harass a little bit, keep the Terran really busy, even forcing him to build that Thor. I don't know if that was a reason or not.
Yeah.
But
well, he is building a Thor now, and more importantly, however, the Terran is still on 1 base, while Feint is on 3.
3 big bases.
3 big bases. So now is the point of the game where that's going to really start to punish the Terran, because he's trying to recoup from that lost push.
Yeah.
And he's not going to be able to really.
And now Fish Raper finally coming out with an expansion, but really, it is too late when you have nothing left to eat with your little SCVs.
And I think Fish Raper is actually double expanding. I think
he's just moving his main base.
Yeah. He was pushing really hard with to keep. I mean, you can tell by the fact that he was even in supply that he was really pushing hard. We have Banelings now for the Feintster.
And those Banelings getting a little bit stuck behind there, but coming through right now to the main.
Look, the Banelings are going to run straight to the SCV line, but there's no more SCVs
except for one. One guy just holding the line. Oh, and Are they gonna get? Oh, the Thor's just busting everything up before it can even get to them. But Speedling's so good against Thors.
And
but there's just too many Marines to get in right now for Feint unless he pulls all of his forces.
Yeah, I mean, but this was a very effective attack in terms of the damage that he did.
And there we go. Move while burrowed. Oh, and the scan's
but it
going
is going to
down.
be seen. I don't.
You don't what?
I actually don't remember this part of the game. That's weird.
Really? Cool.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
glad.
cool. That's cool. It's interesting.
And so now this expansion down, but Fish Raper has not even had time to.
Yeah, he's just been under such a
SCVs.
high tense situation in his main that he has not been able to get those SCVs started.
But he has seemingly held off most of this attack for now.
Yeah, he's stabilized, but I think if you really look at his his income rate, you can see that he's really not stable at this point.
And his
and you can see that in the reflection of the army count is that Feint is already back up to 160 supply, while Fish Raper is stuck at 65.
Yeah, and at this point there's really not too much Fish Raper can do unless he gets his expansion down and somehow holds them off from Feint. Feint hasn't expanded any more just yet, but he doesn't really need to.
And here we have a huge amount of roaches moving burrowed across the map. What are your thoughts on this?
See, this is one of those things of it's cool to burrow units to move across the map like this, especially with a short distance. You're not spotted, the player doesn't know about your attack at all, but sometimes I question, sometimes it's easier just to come in with your speed.
Yeah.
You lose so much speed. But in this instance, like, he's going to catch Fish Raper by complete surprise, destroy this only supply line that he has, and even if all these roaches die, which they probably won't to these Thors and Marines.
I mean, the thing about this that really was remarkable to me is the burrowing right in the supply line.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to literally kill the entirety of his opponent's SCVs.
Yeah, in seconds.
And then be able to re-burrow. I thought that was pretty fancy.
Yeah, it's nice. And just unburrowing, completely surrounding these Thors. These Thors are going to go down so quickly, at least I think. Hope can't even see what's going on.
Yeah, Fish Raper.
I see the GG.
Yeah, giving the GG.
Wow, that was cool.
So, I mean, the thing that I was interested about in this game is I thought that Feint had really awesome use of burrow in general, not just with his roaches, and not just in that final battle, but also the way that he was using burrow to set up for ambush attacks, to really, this food count was even for a large part of the game, but the use of good positioning with his Zerglings really marginalized that.
Yeah, just even when he had those Zerglings burrowed here, waiting for those rocks to break down to get a little... And at that point in the game, he really was kind of had the disadvantage as far as units.
Yeah.
So just using his units to the best advantage. Because really, once you research into burrow, especially at that early point in the game, when you've researched burrow, you've paid the price for it.
Yeah.
That could be extra units, it could be extra tech. It's not. You need to always find little ways to leverage it just in a slight strategic advantage, just to split the other person's troops to anything. And that's exactly what Feint was doing. He understands the mechanics and economy of all the Zerg upgrades, really. So I think that's why you saw that as you did.
And the other thought that I had, like, on a slightly higher level in terms of, like, theoretically, it just made me think, like, here are two players which are playing at a really high level. Feint with over 100 APM, and Fish Raper's also really high at about 70. Those are both really high effective APMs for this level of play, and I think that still being able, like, okay, my point is that since the beta first came out months ago, you and I have the first idea we had was, oh wow, roaches can have a massive movable burrowed attack, roaches into the back of the enemy base.
Yeah.
And, like, but we just sort of never really developed it because of it was just more efficient to do other things.
Yeah.
But what was interesting to me about this is that if you have, like, a creative idea like that, you can still try to figure out a way to incorporate it at, like, a pretty high level of play and turn it into something. And I just was encouraged, watching this game encouraged me to be more creative while playing StarCraft, which I thought was really cool.
And you need the creativity.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well, until next week, friends.
Yeah, GG.
GG!